Already in the game.
All right, let's get into it.
Your Cubby. Let's do it.
It's time for the real stuff here with this series. We're going to lock in Slayer. Pantheon going to be banned out here by BLG. Curious if it's going to be a Shadow opening Trundle. Has been really big for them. Of course, Azir is still on the board. Kind of expect Top Esports to take that one out here, because that's been a really big pick for Creme.
All right. Question now becomes, what is left up? The BLG like for the taking. Varus or Rumble are the two that immediately scream out to me.
Yeah. Gwen banned as well.
Gwen banned. And Mbessa's also going to be up here. I know both of our top laners are pretty big fans of the Mbessa so far. Bin pulled that one out in the game 1 win against Weibo. But it's the Trundle that comes through, and Shadow, like we talked about the champ pool.
Are we giving Varus and Azir to pick Trundle? Because that's crazy to me. I understand how strong Trundle is, but I think that giving Varus plus Azir, these are two champs that interact really well in the Trundle for me. I'm really surprised this opening of BLG. Curious what they have ready as answers. I think the Jhin makes sense, and then Knight again playing the Ziggs into the Azir.
All right, yeah. So Jhin also works next to the Ziggs in the same way the Varus did when we saw this last time for BLG against Weibo. It's double range. You have facilitating.
I like Jarvan.
You facilitate out both of that. But yeah, I mean, how do you corral these two super ranged, death bombs? You get them stuck in that Cataclysm, and you set up for the Azir. Or do we see the Kanavi move off of the Jarvan? They're going to go a different angle. They're going to get hung a Leona. Non-committal engage.
Interesting. I think we're going to see support bans now. Whereas I think the logic for Kanavi is that he's got a lot of champions to play in the Trundle. I'm thinking there's the Wukong Maokai Jarvan that we always talk about, but even like a Pocket Lee Sin, you can very much play Lee in the Trundle, and what's showing so far is a lot of conditional CC. So I think Kanavi's happy to eat bans, and I'm curious that they start throwing bans at top, recognizing that there are a lot of junglers that can be played in the Trundle. Wondering if they try and narrow up 369's champion pool here. As, okay, at least going to take away the Wukong from Kanavi. It's very fair. Kanavi's Wukong throughout his career has been, I'd say, damn good. But again, I think that you still have Maokai and Jarvan that you can very happily play into what's showing. So I don't really see it being worth banning either of those champions, so I'm going to be honest.
Just to, play devil's advocate a little more for this Trundle, because I think your points about the Azir Varus are big. I do like the Trundle denying 369 straight tanks, because I do think right now in current form, 369 is in his bag on tanks. He's like unstoppable on the Scions, the Ornns. He looks really good. So picking the Trundle, you're now daring 369 and maybe go for his Aatrox that he likes, that he hasn't had a ton of success on. His Gragas that he'll go towards, or maybe... Is 369 going to break out the mid top? I don't think this would go to Kanavi.
Whenever we see Nidalee, it is Kanavi. So we got you always have to be aware of it being, and Nidalee is very good in the Trundle. Wow. Okay. This could be flexed.
Depending on the top lane matchup we see here? Okay.
It could be flexed. I think that the flex is very real here. I do like the Nidalee. I think that there's a lot of skill shots and conditional damage that is showing for BLG. Nidalee can play around that really well. So I think guarantees, yeah, I would like the Nautilus here for On.
I would like it a lot.
I think the follow-up that you can have with Ziggs, with the Jhin, this feels right to me. Get on that Nautilus. We'll have at least counter pick now for the top side. And yeah, the Jax and the Nidalee is an okay matchup, and it's a Bin specialty.
But Rumble also has snuck through this far, too. Do you really want to let that go unpicked? No. So Bin is going to lock in the Rumble. A lot of magic damage. Is it worth flexing mid back into the jungle and locking Galio top? Is that something 369 might look at?
I think that's a good... It's a maybe. It's a decent call, Slayer. I don't like Rumble here. I think that they're... Like, you want Ziggs to be solo AP, is my logic. And while you do need damage as BLG, I would have preferred Jax. But, I mean, a good chance to deny here, too, if you're 369. Yeah. So it'll be Cassante. Can be interesting in the Trundle there. I really like where Top Esports is at in their draft. I think that they have some pretty positive lanes for themselves, especially looking at bot. Mid can push early, and this could free up Nidalee to really do damage to the Trundle. So I think a lot of the early power that we've seen from BLG and Shadow on this pick is nerfed by the comp that Top Esports has. And not only do they have some early prio, but they also have good scaling. I mean, this is Azir Varus. They get out-interacted by Rumble, Ziggs, and Jhin. So for BLG, how coordinated can they be in dropping these ults that will outrange Top Esports and trying to lock them down? Because if Top Esports are allowed to be in engage range or allowed to get the leads I think their comp can get with Italy early on, it could be tricky for BLG, because if they fall behind in this one, I think that the ability for top esports to really snowball this game with Italy, Leona, Azir, very real.
I'm so curious about how this game goes for BLG too, because one of the things that I was most impressed about in their last series against Weibo that is adverse to what they did in Split 2 was patient team fighting, especially with this Night Ziggs. They were very calm and reactive. But like you're talking about, this is a different ball game against this top esports comp where I don't think you could play as reactive on the map. This is a whole different game for this Night Ziggs. Also curious what the Elk Jin build looks like, if he's going to try and not maybe rush the Yomus, instead go for something that scales more. We'll have to see. There are a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of new draft adaptations, especially on the BLG side. We talk about Shadow's Trundle. We talk about this Ziggs that Knight wants to bring out. But the bottom line is this, folks. A pivotal game one as both of our teams try and decide who will remain undefeated in Group Ascend. And we'll get the first chapter of that story going soon here on the Summoner's Rift right now. And we will serenade it in with the Jayos that we severely missed earlier on. All right, that round goes to top esports fans, Cubby. That's my verdict. The Jayos.
I happen to agree there, Slayer. I think the draft goes the way of top esports too. I really do. I want to keep our eyes out on. Oh, well, the AI thinks so as well.
Yeah, very heavily. Wow.
I've never seen something that one-sided. Wow, I didn't have the draft being that one-sided, but interesting. Yeah, I just think that Rumble lacks setup. It has to be the Jin Ziggs for the setup, and just doesn't really fit the rest of this game. So, see if it's right or wrong.
You needed a Jarvan or a Wukong with this Rumble, but again, it's just. It's hard to say that knowing that Toronto got R1. We'll have to see. We
also want Ziggs solo AP. I think Ziggs solo AP matters a lot. Oh, that's not a great start.
No, that is not. Shouldn't be punished too heavily. Wow.
Well,
so okay, this is interesting though.
JackeyLove missed a Q.
JackeyLove did miss a Q. Ignite going to come over top. Elk really wins this trade. He can wait for his crit shot to threaten it.
Kind of an oopsie there.
Yeah.
Like Hong should
really
start
quickly,
Q. Yeah.
The fan vote is 80% BLG, but the AI thinks this is one of the most one-sided matches for top esports. This is a battle of human versus computers for game one.
Oh god, that feels too real these days, Slayer.
Yeah, I had to go for that one.
Yeah, I mean, so far the human, I will say at Hong, once you see On take a hook like that, you want to start your Q level 1, 5-second cooldown, able to interact with the melees, and he did not. A little bit surprised by that one. I think that if he starts Q, then this bot lane matchup goes much better for top esports with that initial trade. Instead, ends up being okay for On. There's sustained advantage with the Jin having fleet. So could be something that they can build off of. That said, each of our junglers working their way down towards this bot side. And Nidalee versus Trundle early on, as long as Nidalee isn't locked down, does win out on that matchup in that 1v1. Can deal with the pillar very easily.
In and on. 400 total games together. That's fun.
Wow.
Always love when those milestone stats come across.
That's crazy, actually. I know that. I mean, a big thing for me with On still being in this lineup and kind of the talking points for supports we missed is I don't think people expected Hong to end up with top esports in the tryout. I think a lot of people thought it would be Jouet. And then also for BLG, I'm kind of surprised they didn't move on from On this past offseason. Like, all these junglers being changed, I thought that at one point or another, they'd have to swap out On at support. As Kanavi throws a heat-seeking missile out. Yep. We've come to expect this from his Nidalee.
Yep. Goes another one out on the way out as well. So Shadow's chunked pretty severely at the start of this. But Knight able to block off the mid-roam. Creme takes a good chunk of damage. Redline is going to land on top of Kanavi with the pillar, but Hong flashes forward to try and punish Shadow, who's already way too low, and Creme picks up the kill. Now On's going to flash back over the wall as the 4-man stack at top esports hunts for more kills. Piercing arrow going to land onto On. Spear going to have to be dodged, but it's going to slow the Nautilus down. Pops the shield. Here comes the to play through, but Elk is trying to kite back, hits the deadly flourish, and here comes Knight off to the side. Doesn't have a ton of mana. Hong with the blinking health bar. Flash after Dreadline's going to land around the wall. That hitbox was wacky. But it's a kill nonetheless for Elk.
Okay, On. Good play there on the skirmish. They were able to trade out 1 for 1. I still question why BLG took this fight, though. I just think champions that are showing on paper, you do not win a 3v3 or a 4v4 on the bot side at level 4. Like, Ziggs is not strong enough. Your skill shots are conditional. Azir's going to be better there. Varus, for me, more valuable in that fight, too. So, I think BLG walks out with the best case scenario, but just don't agree with fighting over this crowd like this. I think Shadow just should have went towards top lane and just kind of taken his medicine. Very efficient fight there from Creme. Yeah, again, this is the best case scenario. I thought that if Hong or like JackeyLove was able to follow through, I'm very surprised that On was able to get his way out of here. But well played from On this Nautilus.
Bend it like Beckham.
Yeah, that's a little crap. It's a little crap. That's fine. In the code.
In the code. The code says Nautilus hooks can do wondrous things. Wondrous things. But yeah, that early kill on the Creme is going to be pretty big. One thing with the speedy pre-show that we did miss out on is, I know you've been a fan of how Creme's performed so far this split. I know Creme is kind of a interesting talking point around the LPL, because we're kind of disappointed with the series, including me, and the last series win.
Against WE,
well,
yeah.
Yeah, against WE, but hey, what better test to figure out where we really feel Creme is at up against Knight.
Yeah, I think that Creme's Azir always been a good pick for him. Obviously, Knight rocking the new Ziggs counter matchup that he's playing. LS would be proud. APA as well. I do like this matchup a lot for Ziggs. Ziggs did get a lot of buffs. I'm glad that someone is playing it. And yeah, he wants to sprint towards as much AP as possible, because his ratio is very large. And Azir has trouble autoing into it, so we'll see if Knight can play it out well. Has already won one game on the Ziggs in the same matchup. So I like the fact that we're seeing him play a champion that's very much buffed and very good into Azir.
Yeah, and Bloxer pulled up the stats on it too. I believe it's a 10% win rate dip, Azir versus Ziggs. So that's pretty serious counter.
Yeah, it's definitely a counter that, like, I know LS has been clamoring to see this for a long time. We got to pause because Kanavi
Next flash, dredge line, supports are throwing down, but Elk is pretty untouched. He's got a ton of damage down onto Kanavi. Ignite going onto both junglers. Hong waiting for that Zenith play to come back around. But it won't, and it will just be more puffing of the chest and some skill shots thrown.
I still think that this Raw 3v3, like, I know we've seen some handshakes, but I do think that Top Esports wins it. And we are seeing Kanavi use and abuse some Nidalee tech there. He's just going to aggro the dragon and then use his jungle pet to actually get a lot of resources back. He's actually playing the crab right now. So kind of cute there from Kanavi, showing some mastery on a pick. It's very, very good for him. As, yep, that's going to be crab secured, and going to get control board out of On and maybe look for a fight.
All right, Hong Hex flashes over the wall. The full range spear does connect. On going to dredge line back towards his turret, though. Piercing arrow. Not going to land from JackeyLove. On survives. And now that you don't get that Kanavi reset, Cubby, look at Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow gets the cross map now. Again, we have matched clears, so both junglers went top to bot. Kanavi spent a lot of time down here. And, oh, he's actually going to go choose to defend his camps. If he's going to do this, he's got to bring Creme for this to work, too.
Grubs are up in 10 seconds as well. Shadow's going to get away with his red buff. Not going to get 369 to help. He is caught under his turret. He has a wave to respond.
Well played, Shadow.
Shadow has an angle. Don't know if he'll take this fight up against Kanavi. He can back up and try and set up for the Grubs. Again, Kanavi
no, he wants Kanavi to walk in. This is how you win as Trundle. You try and get him to walk in, and yeah, this is very good. Good hop from Kanavi. If he hops early, he eats the Q from Ziggs. Waited on that. I like that from Shadow, though. Yeah, I like this a lot from Shadow. I think this is a good response from BLG. I don't think Top Esports can take this fight. Kasante just not as strong as the Rumble right now. Conditions much better for the Rumble too. 369.
Wasn't ready for On in that push. Gonna have to go all out, but doesn't get over the wall here. Fights them on two sides, and the Chains of Corruption is gonna land on top of Shadow. They're just gonna burn through him. Equalizer and Inferno Bomb do come down. Creme is caught between the Equalizer and the wall, and Bin's gonna run him down. Flash over the Emperor's Divide. Elk gets his curtain call cancel on the backside of the fight. As Bin tries to protect his AD carry. Out of mana is 369. Elk is running away with those 50 boots and crit shots the forehead of 369. Now Kanavi, the only one left up to try and pick up the scraps as he hops away from the bomb at max range. BLG coming out on top in our first big fight.
It was a great equalizer from Bin. Good fight from BLG. Was surprised that Top Esports took that in the fashion that they did. I think the lack of setup really hurt Creme's fight because it looked like Creme kind of tried to play a desperation fight, came up empty with a lot of his attempts there. It was a good start from Hong and JackeyLove to kind of have that initial burst damage. We're going to take another look. 369 gets caught out in this side, but he was able to finagle this one okay, just given that he goes all out and doesn't really lose out on his resources. Meanwhile, this side, really like the engage they tried onto Elk, but they swapped targets and went for Shadow, who goes down, but the Zigzar is big. The Equalizer is beautifully placed by Bin. Bin has a great fight here and really makes the fight difficult for Creme, who tried to follow up on that initial engage and I think overplayed his cards heavily.
How impressive is it that out of this draft, Cubby, we were so worried about this Rumble. We said no setup, but great players overcome draft gaps. And what does he do in his first Equalizer?
Beautiful ult.
I'm my own setup.
Beautiful ult there. And frankly, again, like kind of what BLG has to do. You can't argue that this can be used to set up Zigzar and Jinnar just with the compounding slows. So, well played there from Bin. I think that he played that fight out really nicely in the Rumble. A pick that he's been very vocal about putting a lot of extra time into.
Okay. All right, doesn't walk back in the good one. I was a little worried about that. So we do have some interesting lane assignments as we get closer and closer to plates dropping. Got to remember, and I want to point this out because it was the last time we saw Ziggs. Why BLG played so slow in that Knight and Ziggs game was because they were so focused on knocking turrets down. The power of that satchel charge. So much value.
Yeah, and also just the power of the wave clear of Ziggs. Like, we talk so much about Varus and priority. You can answer it easily as Ziggs. They want to kite out.
Inferno Bomb. They're using a lot onto Hong, though. Drops a Solar Flare, but he should die to Knight off to the side here. Hong gonna cover. Curtain Call comes down. They're hunting for more kills over the wall, and Knight is just landing these bombs. But On goes a bit too far forward. Another bomb. The Arcade Comet, the burn. No, JackeyLove and Kanavi on a sliver of HP.
Top Esports get away with murder there. They threw everything into a subjugated Trundle. I thought that this fight was going to be very BLG favored. And it could have been. I mean, we're one or two deadly flourishes away from this being a BLG runaway victory. But Kanavi, JackeyLove managed to use the hands to actually get themselves out of that one in the end. Wow, I did not have them getting out like that.
Still, though, it is Knight getting to the first item first. He's doing the Blackfire Torch, so...
Yeah, this is the right call. You just want to get as much AP as possible. So it's Torch. I think that the earlier you get a Zanya or Death Cap, the better on Ziggs. My guess is second item, he's going to go for probably a Shadow Flame. I don't think the Andres is the right call this game. Just think you want AP on the Ziggs. And so Torch gives you the most AP because, of course, Ziggs pretty easy to impact a few different members.
Green. All right, good buffer on the Deadly Flourish there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting, though, because this is a different build than Knight went in that Weibo series. I don't think he rushed the Blackfire Torch. And there is a lot of, you know, we're still learning how the Ziggs fits in the meta, like we talked about, ever since the buffs came around to make it pro play viable in the eyes of the Golden Left Hand.
Yeah, at least mid-laners, right? We're still seeing Ziggs bot, but I do appreciate Knight playing this mid. Again, in theory, it's a really, really good matchup for Ziggs. You outrange Azir. He has to go through your minefield and Satchel Charge to engage on you. You can use Satchel Charge to cancel Azir dash and also kind of get out of Shurima Shuffle. Like that's the Doom scenario, right? So you have two tools to slow him down on the way in and have really good conditions. So I like the fact that we're seeing this. I think that is a good matchup that, again, like there's a reason that, you know, very intelligent people like LS have been clamoring to see this counter answer more into Azir, because ranged into Azir is a winning formula. And I appreciate that Knight is at least really trying to put some time and effort into this pick. I think that there is a lot of validity to it.
Big reset, Cubby, though, coming through here for BLG as that Dragon does spawn. That Dragon still remains untouched on the bot side, 14 minutes in. I'd like to see that Elk is specifically going for a more scale, you know, Exodia Jhin. We saw the Yomu's rush the last Jhin game we saw. This time he goes Collector, which still gives you that lethality thump, but lends more to the crit scaling Jhin. We're going to see a dive on a 369 with a TP coming over. Equalizer, 369 going to dash out the main damage, then use it all out to go back forward. Shadow can't juggle the turret aggro any longer, but four members is enough.
Heavy commit from BLG. They commit to the cross map. I'm going to try and knock down first turret. 14 minutes, so plates are down. And first brick does secure feats for BLG, so that looks like the trade. Dragon for feats.
Like we talked
Kill
about
this with Ziggs, for sure.
Yeah, that's why Knight loves this pick. Expect to see Knight in all 3 lanes just hammering on these tier 1 turrets. That's what he did all game against Fuego.
I mean, you'd think that Top Esports, being the team that lost to TL at first stand, would be the one playing the Ziggs, but no, it's Knight. Taking the lessons from APA.
That's how we're going to spin it?
Yes.
Knight is
that is my narrative.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's a good narrative. No bias here on the
nope.
caster desk on that one.
Definitely not NA casters. Do not worry about it, guys. Just had to find a way to squeeze TL into this conversation between our 2 undefeated LPL squads, you know.
Just put them up to that level of power.
Yeah, I mean, definitely deserve it after the series against Mayan, right?
Yeah. Shout out 30, man. Shout out 30.
Shout out 30.
All right. Rift Herald is up. Let's see where these 2 teams are at. Kane are going to be completed for this Cassante. So 369 is already a pretty big tank threat, but Shadow is yet to be able to subjugate ult this Cassante. You can look at the player gold, and like we kind of talked about, these carries for BLG are a little bit better of a spot, but it's Kanavi to start up the Rift Herald on his own.
Do you want to give some credit to Shadow? He's done a nice job of keeping up with his Nidalee. And I think so far picking the right spots. But
wow, that thing evaporated.
Yeah, that thing did evaporate.
Another good cancel on the Zenith Blade.
Unstead this
Solar
time.
Flare, a Chains of Corruption, the Flash, a little bit too late. Hong will pick the kill up, but it's on Caught.
Yep, all right. That's after the Rift Herald. 369 going to TP down, get a fast play. There's no Dragon to take right now, but they can maybe play for that Rumble. Or play for mid as Hong going for Elk.
Okay, he has Cleanse and Flash. He's going to Flash basically in place and somehow walk his way through the Sand Soldiers. That was an interesting interaction, but it's still both.
Oh! Elk!
Get down, Elk!
Oh my god, Elk! I mean, Elk has been such a good performer for BLG so far this year, and I don't know how he even pulled that one off. I think we got Spectate bugged a little bit on the Flash there, but Elk, I mean, looking like he's quite literally pulling a rabbit out of his hat, escaping from the Shurima shuffle and finding the kill in the back half.
Cancel the dash. Wonder if he's going to dive if he subjugates. He does pop it, but 369 going to commit his own Flash instead. We are really starting to ramp up these pick plays.
A good takeaway there from Shadow, and it's going to be mid-turret falling as well. As again, yeah, Ziggs diff. You can see Satchel is prepped. You do that because every ability you throw out, it takes 4 seconds off your passive as Ziggs, and while your passive autos do bonus damage to turrets too. So good to see Knight min-maxing a little bit on that champion. Meanwhile, 369, no Flash, still has the all-out though if he needs to get out of this play, because he sure as hell seems to be the play here for BLG.
He's got to be careful how far he's going to walk forward.
No, he
feels
knows.
Like he's trying to bait this. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Never mind.
That's
He
too
thinks
far.
they didn't
Yeah,
stick
that's
around.
too far. Walk past the river midline, and 369 once again 4v1, but this time he doesn't have his turret to protect him. They're TPing in Creme. Feels a bit too late. Creme is maybe TPing into his depth, but they're going to respect Hong on the flank with no tier 1 turret up. The Solar Flare is not going to land, though. Zenith's Blade going to land onto On. Shadow still doesn't have any subjugated. Equalizer's going to do a ton of damage. They're trying to lock up JackeyLove back into this fight. Creme puts the turret back up, and now Shadow's flashing after Kanavi, but Kanavi's surviving, thriving, healing through it all. Bit with the Flame Spinner will do enough to turn the fight back. BLG standing up tall at the bot side.
And Top Esports opting into their own demise a bit, opting into a 4v5 as Creme the TP. There was no chance they were going to save 369 on that play. I think the power of Azir, I could see some theory of if you get a turret down, you have a big team fight for Creme, it's good, but that wasn't even close to being the case. And oh boy, we're going all the way back in time to see how Elk got out of this one. As let's see when this flash came down.
What the heck was that? I assume he just flashed the Emperor's Divide on time.
Oh, I think his flash cleared it. I do not know exactly what happened there. He did have a ward, so he did have vision on the Ona. Meanwhile, again, what happened? Like, I just do not understand this TPN at all. If I'm Top Esports, you could actually play for midwave and like to deny Raptor camp and play for blue buff in this. Like, you can take a lot of BLG's camps from that play. They put a lot into 369. The reason he's hitting that wave is that they thought they reset. So you'd be up-tempo on the rest of the map because BLG are going to stay an extra wave to make that play. Instead, they opt into the fight, and JackeyLove just ends up in the middle of everyone. Creme doesn't live long enough to really make it so that they had the fight under the turret, and BLG just gets out with everything they wanted. They had their cake with 369 and ate the rest of top esports along with it, too.
Now those two AP solo laners are in such a strong spot as we get to see a picture. Nice on, so he gets the flash out of JackeyLove. This is a cleanseless Varus. So that's a pretty prime target, but Cubby, just look at the breakpoints Bin and Knight are at. Especially Knight, this is only going to get worse.
Yeah, I don't love that Knight went for the Leandries.
Yeah.
Again, I think that on Ziggs, you really want to stack up your AP. Your ratios are so gross, especially after the buffs to Q. Elk is flashless. He's the look, but
there's a trap.
Oh, we got the shield off.
Push. Oh, the Chin Scrub's going to go wide as well. They lock up JackeyLove. The field goal post open up for one shot to his heart. Crit shot, where's it going to go? Going to hit onto Hong, but again, 369. How much can he take on the front line? Bin on the flank with a huge equalizer. Look how it locks up TES. They're stuck between a literal blaze and a wall, and they're going to burn on down as Knight comes over top with the bombs of destruction. Creme going to fly a bit late, but he has no support here. 1v5, he trades Shadow, but now the mid-tier 2 turret's here to get knocked down.
Oh, the milk is not good for Creme this game, as I think a couple of these takes have been a little bit unwarranted, and BLG starting to run away with this one against top esports. It's been a fantastic game from Elk, but also Bin with these fights. You called it, Slayer, that equalizer. The positioning of it was just perfect as he locks top esports in against the terrain. Really clever by On here. Actually got the shield off with the dredge line after he casted the depth charge. So JackeyLove is being stalled on his way out by a lot of the tools of BLG. This bought the time for Bin to TP in and drop the equalizer on top of it. But what is the take from Creme and from top esports? Like, this is, I think, been their Achilles heel, is that some games, the takes they have are just not great. And it feels like we have trouble to find reason against it. I don't think the top esports gets outscaled so hard that they have to look for fights like this.
Wow.
As that take from Creme, I mean, we were just signing up for our own death here, my friend.
Who cares if you kill Shadow? He's the one guy that's died all game. Like, you can't.
He's the one guy that doesn't have a shutdown too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you're not even shutdown hunting.
He got flash off a Knight, so that they can try and punish that. But yeah, it's been a questionable game for me from top esports. Like that fight, I think that was well played from BLG, but that bottom fight, opting into a 4v5 and that TP from Creme in there into that play, feels like two really expensive plays from Creme for his team. Like, we want the Azir to stand tall, be the Emperor. I think that the Rylai's second Azir, I know it's not what we have this game, but we've seen Azir be a lot more successful when you're able to stand and fire and play these front to backs. It's not like the old Azir where it's Q-Max and you can play Torpedo Azir and try and have these really impactful plays. I think we've seen Azir be a lot more impactful when you're able to stand and fire, which, to be fair, difficult against the Ziggs, Jhin, Nautilus, but a lot of the tools were down for Creme to at least try and do some damage in that fight. Instead, he just kind of decided to go in 1v4.
And even further looking back about the decision making, you called it after that bot play a little bit. I gotta believe that there were just better, cross-map plays to go for.
Oh,
like
the bot play, they could have fought for all the jungle camps against BLG.
All the jungle camps. Yeah. Like a mid push, but even just like getting Creme on a side wave and getting him more leveled up, giving him more experience as this primary late game threat with a poke Varus. TS feel like they are pigeonholing themselves into perma fighting when, I mean, I guess that's kind of how they drafted with this Nidalee and Varus, but again, it wasn't, you didn't need to go all out in the spots. And now, TS, you kind of have to fight.
No flash.
And maybe look for Knight on a pick, but Hong's all alone. He's trying to start a recall. Yeah, Knight sniffed it out. But the Azir turret up there to try and make sure they can cover wave for wave. As this Otacon is the premier token to a win if you're BLG. But look at Bin off to the bot side as all this is going on.
They just have to survive. 369 has to fix 2 waves right now as he has mid at the inhibitor turret. And you can see that bot wave is crashing with the inner that's still up. That's going to be dropped by top esports. They try and posture over this one. As Hong sees Knight base, and Knight's probably just going to TP back.
Knight has a book.
He already had the book. He got some more pen here.
Oh,
yeah.
Boy, all right. He went both last game too. Oh, Zenith played onto On. Tons of damage dropped through. Chains of Corruption, Solar Flare. All this onto On. So they commit about 2.5, 3 ultimates to kill off the BLG support. They have a man advantage. Ben TP's in. 369 can't catch him for an Emperor's Divide. Current Call coming down. They're hunting Hog on the backside. Equalizer's going to make sure nobody can touch Elk as he goes for that Current Call. Creme gets hit by a Deadly Flourish. And it's just setting up all that over-the-top damage. Knight's bombs are starting to really hurt these squishier members of top esports. And we're in a full all-out poke war now, Cubby.
I think it's going to be an Otacon start, and you can see Shadow is getting really cheeky here. He needs to heal back up. He's going to steal some camps away from top esports, and if he gets behind them, this is not spotted on Vision. So Shadow could have a very impactful flank on a Trundle, not what we're used to seeing, but I think a good setup for BLG.
They're pinging it like they know it's coming. There's the
he gave himself away.
He gave himself away with the pillar. Elk stepping up a little bit too far forward. Creme's going to go all in for the shot, or even shuffle, and he gets Knight! The flashless Ziggs is down. Creme redeems himself, and top esports gets the Otacon on the back end of it.
Good play. Again, that angle from Shadow, I think it's a decent idea, but if you give yourself away, you take away any and all the power. Now they're still trapped up here as the play continues for top esports. The poke they can put down between the Varus, the Azir, and these Nidalee heals. These elongated scenarios, I will say the Nidalee into the Ziggs Jhin. We didn't really talk about the heals, but this is a good idea from top esports. As we saw in that long fight, I mean, usually when you're playing against Jhin Ziggs, you're scared of that scenario, but with the Varus and the Nidalee, top esports can kind of answer this poke war and actually win out of it themselves too.
Huge get here. The Otacon really stabilizes a slippery slope of the game.
And you called it, Slayer, redemption for Creme, because we saw 2 plays in a row that were pretty grim for Creme. Here, I know he catches a couple skill shots, but really steps up. There was a heal that snuck in there from Kanavi that neutralized a Knight Q, and he did trade his Flash to Remus Shuffle. He did get Knight's Flash, so was able to punish it there, and that led to a big objective being secured.
And he gets both Bin and Elk's Flash, too, by just threatening the Emperor's Divide. So another revisit for Creme, who is now at 3 items with that Zanya's. And again, like we talked about, is the huge scaling crutch on this team.
Zanya's a big luxury item to get into Ziggs, Rumble, Jhin. I mean, you're ensuring that when you go into stasis, the likelihood of it being high value in this game, very high for Creme. So I think this was the right 3rd item for him. As again, another poke war and more posturing coming. I think this Nidalee, we don't usually talk about the scaling of Nidalee, but having 5 points in that heal now, I think it's starting to look really impactful because Ziggs' poke is so conditional. And BLG, like, why we didn't love the Rumble pick is that doesn't really set up for this Jhin Ziggs that much. And I think we're seeing some of those Qs start to not connect. The heals neutralize it, and top esports feel like they're on much better footing now.
They can use the Sand Soldiers of Creme with Kanavi. The only downside this is for top esports is that we would, what did we take first Dragon? Like 15 minutes in? So only 3 Drakes in at 27 minutes. Don't like the both of our teams are kind of just going for what we call an NA ram. We're all just standing mid lane and trying to trade skill shots in the poke war.
You paused there. Yeah,
I'm waiting to see what support.
You thought we'd see a dredge line. Instead, it's just 369, slowly inching his way forward, as I don't think On wants to dredge line him.
Also take a look at these sideways.
Well, the turret going down, so I will say these sideways, it's seesawed at the moment. Top will have to fix their top lane. But their bot lane is going to slow push to eternity, and that's what I think what is encouraging this Baron setup for them. Yeah.
Shadow face checks into Hong. There's the layering of CC, but Shadow does get out, and there's a huge Inferno Bomb on the back end. There's your Jhin Ziggs setup. It just needed a tiny window as the force shot finds Creme in the background, and now Elk gets to sing his song running forward, hits another skill shot, dodges out in the piercing arrow, and now all we have left is the carries. Kanavi and JackeyLove, the only 2 up for top esports.
That was a ginormous red carpet again from Bin. If this is going to be a BLG win, I think Bin has to be the pog of this game. Not to take away from what Elk has done as well, but my goodness, Bin is single-handedly winning BLG some of these fights. This is another one as Shadow gets caught, burns the flash, still eats the chain of corruption. Look at the equalizer. That's like perfectly spread out across all 5 members. Top esports can't even walk up through it. Need to burn the Zanyas just to survive it. JackeyLove lost 3/4 of his HP to the equalizer only. As what a shot from Elk too. On point, Bin and Elk in this game. As, I mean, any good plays from BLG have come off the back of these two and their long-range engage tools with these ultimates. And that really turns things back around against top esports. At least gets a little bit of gold back in their favor.
And I want to revisit the build decisions from the BLG carries again. Remember, we talked about the collector first and signaled that Elk wants to scale and be a huge late game threat instead of those lethality items. We've reached that point with this Infinity Edge done. He's going to get an armor pen item next with a heal cut. Elk is going to start churning damage, even with these auto attack on the crits. So while we did have double AP lanes with the damage dealers and the Rumble and the Ziggs, now Elk is online to provide a bit of a mix.
Yeah, and that Jhin versus Varus matchup, of course, you're allowed to auto, get those 4 shots down. Be very good for the Jhin later on in this game. The scaling of this game is a little bit tricky because, like, you have Trundle and then, like, Ziggs Jhin, it's so good, but also I can really see a world where top esports can, like, survive the poke and actually have a more effective fight. Because I think it's, like, given the draft, I did not see the equalizers being this valuable, but the way that Bin has used them has just been masterful on the Rumble. He, again, is personally really made it the mission for Rumble to be a good champion for him, and Bin, his Rumble has really shown in this calendar year of the LPL, shining again against top esports today. And for BLG, I mean, this is an even game right now, Slayer. Like, and they have enough footing to actually get on the map is on?
Well,
okay.
The small thing I wanted to ask you, how much of an effect were those late Drakes in slowing this game down at 30 minutes? It makes there's so much less to play for on the map, so much less of a threat of a soul, right?
I will also say that, like, Infernal Drake, a great draw for BLG, given they have more damage in their comp, and Jhin with Infernal in particular has, like, unique scaling, just because how Jhin scales with damage. Really nice for him. So I think the Drake, I mean, it being late, it was so BLG could secure feats. I don't, like, neither team really cares about stacking Drake too much. I don't think it's that big of an impact by this point, but we're a minute out, and we're still seeing these teams play really narrow setups. They're scared of the trigger pull of each other and trying to opt into all this poke. Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, Night Flash for Chains of Corruption. That's huge value. Want to see Creme revisit that, punish this Knight. Again, Medjai's Ziggs that is now a prime target if you're top esports. Oh, that spear.
That was a good try on the setup. This is part of the reason why you don't see a ton of Ziggs into Azir too, because if you lose Flash, it can be so dire. I don't love this.
No.
This is not great.
This time, the Equalizer and the Infernal Bomb whiff. BLG have to bail out of this fight. There's no way they can find this win. Oh, the force shot goes wide as well. Those key ultimates that had no setup that were lining up aren't finding their mark, but somehow BLG are still winning, still thriving, and it's Bin flashing forward the Flame Spitter to find the kills, and finally, Shadow gets to club someone to death. They don't need the ultimates this time, Cubby. They're just better.
And Creme just wasn't able to auto. JackeyLove also kind of caught out in that fight. I honestly have to take a second look because I really want to see the fight from Creme's perspective, because we were focused on the alt Slayer. We saw them all go wide, but it still ends up being an incredibly one-sided fight in favor of BLG. So going to be a Baron for a Dragon traded by Top and Creme. This will get them soul point, but man, Baron with the Ziggs, 2 inner turrets are standing. You got to believe one inhibitor is going to guarantee to fall, and this Dragon may not even fall for free for Creme. It's a DPS war. Trundle's getting close. He's going to get it.
He's not going to survive.
Oh, he actually snuck out.
Oh, he's going to recall.
He gets out. He gets out. Yeah, he TP'd.
Oh, he did TP.
Good play. Good play from Creme. Good pickup. I still want to see the last fight, though. I did not see how Creme was not able to auto or deal damage.
I don't understand how BLG
He just built Abyssal Max, by the way. I'm watching this from Creme's perspective.
Okay.
As, again, he gets stuck. Equalizer comes out, but the locket pretty neutralizes all of it. JackeyLove is just on the opposite side of the fight. Like, Creme's just not able to auto because he burned the EQ. I mean, this Q is not great. He gets kited out. Knight plays this really well. Yeah. Knight just forcing Creme out of there. The Zanyas means that Bin lives, and then the next EQ taken out. So Creme just has a completely ineffective fight thanks to how BLG played it. I do think that Creme could have played that one a little bit better, but I do want to give credit to BLG, who played a beautiful fight. JackeyLove, Creme not able to interact with that fight as the front line of top esports melted.
That last point you made there, Cubby, might be why I think this game is over. I think by this point, Elk and Knight have reached the damage profile where nobody can really survive their poke. And before it was the backline you had to be worried about, but now if you could just go front to back with this kind of team, I don't see TES rescuing this game.
It's about to be a death cap on Rumble 2. Got to believe death cap's going to come in for Knight. I think once those 2 items come in, it's probably GG. Again, we have seen, like, some of the damage is conditional this game, especially looking at Ziggs, but also Varus skill shots. conditional too, and we've seen more autos from Jin connecting than skill shots from Varus.
Look at 369. This is the guy that stood up to all that damage before. Now he's flashing away from curtain call shots. Completely chunked out his 369 to Kanavi. Like you called out, that's the whole front line of TES and have to go reset in the fountain.
If they are able to reset on the fountain, it could be okay for them. Because I think the rest of top esports with Nidalee heals, and then some tools were burned there from BLG. I mean, you have no Zigzar and On's dead.
That's not a good dredge line. Kanavi has the stasis to get away from a crit shot to death, but oh,
beauty.
The bomb timing from Knight was pristine.
Beauty there from Knight. Caught a minion, caught Kanavi, and that's going to be a trade up in the end. So Bin going to be fixing this wave. Again, Bin doesn't have Equalizer for one more wave. I think this wave's a little bit scary for BLG, but they can keep the siege going. Oh, it's the last Baron wave. Okay, let's see if they can get or break this. Knight's up with a satchel charge. But, oh, top esports. Hong has a pocket.
Looking, yeah. All right, BLG, they're not gonna over-index. Elk.
Okay.
Just walking away from that solar flare. That not too bad. Hong will have that up in a jiffy. But now Shadow resets. Elk's got to be careful. Man, Elk is playing with some serious confidence right now, hanging around alone in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, it doesn't have that Baron-empowered recall anymore, too. I mean, frankly, for top esports, like, this game's not great for them, but they didn't lose an inhibitor turret, and so that's, I'd say, against the Ziggs, you're pretty happy about that. You're staring down a Baron. As, yeah, just not a dredge line I could take him the health bar that he was at, but again, you can see this Jin damage being big, and that's a beautifully timed bouncing bomb there from Knight. Just no chance for Kanavi to get out of that one. That's what we'd like to see from our two undefeated teams here in the LPL, the Pixel Perfect plays. Doesn't get much better than that.
I don't think the damage gets any better for top esports. I think that's Cubby where we're at with the main pitfalls.
Well, especially when Creme builds Abyssal Mask, which...
Yeah, I mean, that's bad. But just like, even outside of whatever is your build, you talked validly so about the Nidalee healing, how it scales, but on hit, sorry, not on hit. Lethality Varus by this point at 36 minutes loses a ton of value. Nidalee in general loses a ton of value.
Yeah.
It's all on Creme, who, like you called out, built defensively.
I'm with you, Slayer. I think that this is a better looking game for BLG. I don't think we I think that you're adding some clarity to scaling, and some of what my clarity lacked when I drew up the roadmap at the start of this one. So you're picking up some of my slack, Slayer. I appreciate it.
That's what the best duos do. And right now, you know the best duo is on the Rift for BLG. Solo lanes, man. Well, you know, it might be a trio. Elk has been
shout out to Elk,
super,
yeah.
Elk has been super impressive in this game as well. But it's not over yet. We're back to this mid lane sort of dance, but that's worse for top esports because their lanes have gotten even longer than before they have to respond to. We're starting to see the desperation of TES. They know that Infernal might be their last win con.
At least without a Zero turret, they can guarantee they can kind of play through mid. They have some coverage for BLG. There's a trap that if Bin steps on could be good information that's much needed for top esports, because yeah, their next step is to try and make some progress here. Oh, that's an early engage.
Another choke.
I am surprised about that one from Bin.
All right,
Don't think that was exactly worth it.
We're in another fight where now all these ults are winning pristine like they were earlier. They're going to jump Solar Flare, Chains of Corruption, a lot onto On, but Creme goes over the wall without help. Eats a dredge line, has to go into the stasis. Kanavi as well.
Doesn't matter.
There's no help coming for them. They jumped in too early, and now they got to bite the bullet. And the bullet is Knight running wild. Gets the triple kill. Elk shuts down JackeyLove. Down goes top esports. BLG are going to go up 1-0 with their super scaler of a comp.
I just watched Brother Creme EQ get exhausted and get one shot, as that's going to be the end of the game. BLG. The scaling of the carries, the range of it pays off, and an impressive game from Bin, Knight, and Elk as they managed to carry their team to a pretty convincing victory against top esports.
I'm going to commit a cardinal sin here while we got time as the Nexus goes down. Oh, they took away the scoreboard. All right. I was going to do some math.
They have to throw it back up. They have to throw it back up.
I was curious. I wanted to commit to some math to show how great that scoreline is. They went. I think so 20 plus kills, 2 deaths, and 30 plus assists between Bin, Knight, and Elk.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good trio there. One might say that trio could win a NBA title, you know, in a past era. Gonna put up numbers like that.
Which one's unfortunately the Bosch is my question.
Oh, I was thinking about the Celtics 3. And Elk is definitely Bosch. There's no question about that. Elk is Bosch.
I can't believe you went for the Celtics big 3 before the Heat big 3.
I mean, honestly, you're probably right, because we could say that Knight is LeBron, because, you know, he keeps on changing out his jungler, aka his team. So it's like late GM is Knight.
And then
that fits.
Bin, we just saw, played 400 games with On. Bin's Dwayne Wade because he's the most loyal to the organization.
Yeah, and On is Udonis Haslam, so it's fine. We took this way too far. Solid game there from BLG.
Yeah. This new Elk mid pick, I really think is going to take waves as this Azir answer, because we have a lot of good Azir teams or mid laners that play Azir well. I don't know. I'm enjoying how BLG are creating their own identity this split with this Ziggs pick and Shadow's champ pool.
I do think that one perk for like this Knight versus Creme matchup is Knight, for me, has always been the LPL mid laner that has played every and all mages really well. Yes. I think that's been a struggle for Creme. We know Creme for the Sylas, the Akali, the Tristana, the Yone, and kind of the Azir, but his mage play is just kind of meh. Whereas Knight's mage play, I mean, you think of Knight's Orianna, the Syndra, like these are fantastic, well-known picks for Knight. So for me, like, I think that seeing him bust out the Ziggs and now go 2-0 on it in this matchup, it has been a pretty good look. And again, I think that there is a lot of value for this pick versus the Azir. And it has been nice to see some player, I say some player, not just some player, like the mid laner in LPL, pick this with confidence and play it very well.
And looking even further, like what's around this Ziggs, and I kind of talked about it a bit when we saw this draft come through, how they played against Weibo. It's another patient early game from BLG where they punish the enemy team for indexing early and then kind of panicking when they're not super ahead. We're going to see that in this replay. You know, we talk about the two big mistakes, right? Cubby, the bottom lane teleport play, and then, like, I think it was the first big mid lane fight. But what BLG does so well with this comp is they have solo wave states that are positive for them, a bot lane that's able to, you know, go even in tempo. Shadow, you know, got a little bit caught running around the jungle.
I still want to know what happened with that play, by the way. You can't tell me that Elk didn't squeeze between the soldiers there at all. Maybe the Dark Star Jhin has cosmic powers, you know?
There you go. But I just love that BLG in Split 2, we got give them such a crutch of having to be such an early game aggressive team for a lot of the year, and now they have this new comp where they play slow and punish their opponents for over-aggression, just like this bot lane fight that really blew the game open in my mind.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Slayer. This is a squad where... Sorry, I just watched Creme play that fight again. He didn't have any W's up after he R'd in, which is kind of a cardinal sin on Azir. But anyway. I think top esports, at least in Split 1 when they were at their best, was when Kanavi was able to play with a lot of priority. And they definitely gave that over. I mean, Kanavi's an outstanding Italy player. And top esports, again, another team that has really proven that they can play with priority and win games with Kanavi. But yeah, BLG, they took the scaling, they shut that down, and then to see them actually scale into a game and play well enough to get there, that's not something we saw to BLG in Split 2. So I think that's a great call out, Slayer.
I just fanboying over these equalizers, too. That was you're going to get this one, too. I mean,
yeah, it's still a bin pog. I don't care what Elk scoreline was. It is still a bin pog.
I would agree. Mm-hmm. I also will say I'm not mad if any of the three of them get it. Personally,
it can't be Knight.
Okay, yeah. I mean, my 80
it's got to be Elk or bin.
Give it to Elk because I think
it's got to be Elk or bin.
I mean, these deadly flourish catches are just so pristine too. This fight was head scratching. Like, it's the first time those ults didn't layer correctly, but it was too late.
I think that like in the end, I think top esports in this one. JackeyLove got caught out pretty bad, but I do think that top esports need to take they didn't really have a real way to reset. Like sometimes when you are playing the poke fights, it's nice to have a way to not just go one directionally in, but when you have Leona and then Creme sending it the way that he was, you can't really play a malleable fight. And then this one was tough. Yeah, Creme EQ'd in, gets exhausted, gets hooked, and gets DPS by Elk.
And just look, I mean, how does JackeyLove
that Azir looked hard. I mean, look, this game, I saw Varus and Azir given over, and I saw BLG take 2 picks into that and just absolutely destroyed them. I hope that a lot of other people start considering Ziggs mid. I think that the way Knight's playing it, it looks really good. I know that there's like a lot of value and proponents for this matchup, Ziggs versus Azir. If you followed LS, as a lot of people have for a long time.
It's not BLG Jr. Come on, guys.
Oh, it's not.
Not to derail you. I thought that was very funny.
No, that is kind of funny. Yeah, BLG Jr. That would be LG.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
3 out of the 5 members. Yeah. Anyway.
What a headline that would be. Listen, here's the biggest takeaway, guys. Thanks tonight. Learn from NA. Shout out APA Ziggs.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they beat top esports. BLG's like, why not? All right, thank you, LPL. LPL has been very based about the Pog picks. Definitely more based than LCK, who has to deal with the KEKW and MIDI votes. I'm glad that we get much less of that here in LPL.
I've seen some heinous LPL ones, personally. I think I've already had a
there have been some, but there are very much far in few between, and you just think about them more because there are very few. Someone that, been a part of both. Was on LCK for a split. A lot worse over there. Bin, deserved, Pog. The equalizers, like 3 or 4 equalizers, just picture perfect in that game. As BLG put together a nice game 1 win.
Very, very fun as well to see Bin. The one advantage I think he has over 369 right now in form is that he can play the carries super well, where 369 has done a lot of the tank duty. So showing the carry potential there in his MVP. You can help carry the LPL English unofficial broadcast at home in one awesome way, and that is by supporting us through coffee. So we can, or actually,
we got that, but we also have something new over here that we got to talk to you guys about.
We do have something new.
We got a partnership.
Yeah, we do have a partnership, and I am going to, what's the word I'm looking for here? I am going to
chill.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, Shill will be doing after the break. I'm gonna kind of tease you guys. We have a new partnership that we're gonna announce, and we're gonna talk about that after the break. And there, we will get set for Game 2. Will Top Esports have a response, or are BLG looking to be the best team in the LPL form-wise so far? We'll find out that and more, and our new partnership on the other side of this intermission.